First contact, the arrival. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with an energy not felt in millennia. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted nervously in their seats, appendages twitching and chromatophores flickering in agitation. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Zixnera, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's light in dazzling patterns. Esteemed colleagues, Zixnera's voice resonated through the chamber. I come before you with news that will reshape our understanding of the cosmos. A new species has emerged from the depths of uncharted space, one that defies our expectations and challenges our assumptions. They call themselves humans. A collective murmur rippled through the assembly. Some leaned forward in curiosity, others recoiled in trepidation. The Arcturian delegate, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate suit, spoke first. Ambassador, surely you jest. We have explored 98.7% of our galaxy. How could an intelligent species have escaped our notice? Zixnera's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained excitement. That, esteemed Arcturian, is precisely what makes this discovery so remarkable. The humans hail from a small, unremarkable planet in the galactic backwaters, a planet they call Earth. Holograms flickered to life around the chamber, displaying images of a blue-green world swirling with white clouds. Close-ups revealed bustling cities, vast wilderness, and the bipedal inhabitants themselves. As you can see, Zixnera continued, the humans are a carbon-based species, not unlike many we've encountered before, but their similarities to known life forms end there. These creatures have achieved spaceflight and rudimentary faster-than-light travel using methods we've long since abandoned as inefficient and dangerous. The Hive Queen of Betelgeuse, a massive insectoid being, chittered in amusement. Surely such primitive beings pose no threat to our galactic order. Perhaps we should simply quarantine their system and allow them to develop in isolation. Zixnera's crystalline form flickered, a sign of disagreement among her people. I fear it's not that simple, Your Majesty. The humans have already established colonies on nearby worlds and have made contact with several spacefaring species on the galactic fringe. They are expanding at an alarming rate. Holographic displays shifted, showing human ships, crude by galactic standards, venturing forth into the cosmos. The assembled delegates watched in a mixture of fascination and horror as these vessels employed what could only be described as brute force methods to tear holes in the fabric of spacetime. By the cosmic egg, gasped the avian representative from Deneb. How are they not destroying themselves with each jump? Zixnera's form pulsed with what could only be described as a shrug. We don't know. Their technology is primitive, yet they achieve results that defy our understanding of physics. It's as if they're what's the word? Stubborn. Yes, too stubborn to accept the limitations of the universe. The chamber erupted in overlapping conversations, each species trying to make sense of this unprecedented situation. The humans' rapid expansion violated countless treaties and carefully negotiated boundaries. Yet they seemed blissfully unaware of the political minefield they were stumbling through. As the clamor grew, a deep, resonant tone silenced the assembly. All eyes turned to the ancient a being so old it was said to have witnessed the birth of stars. Its gelatinous form rippled as it spoke, translators struggling to keep up with the complex harmonics of its language. In all my eons, the intoned, I have never encountered a species quite like these humans. They are young, yes, but there is a fire in them that burns brighter than any I have seen. We would be wise not to underestimate them. Zixnera nodded in agreement. The viewer speaks true. Already, the humans have shown remarkable adaptability. They thrive in environments that would kill most species, and their rate of technological advancement is unsettling. New holograms appeared, showing humans in various alien environments. They walked on worlds with crushing gravity, breathed atmospheres that should have been toxic, and seemed to revel in the challenge of each new frontier. But surely, the Arcturian delegate interjected, they cannot hope to compete with our advanced civilizations. Our technology, Our culture, our very way of life, is millennia beyond their comprehension. Zixnera's crystalline form dimmed slightly, a sign of deep thought among her people. That may be true, but the humans have something we lack: an insatiable curiosity and a drive to explore that borders on madness. They do not see barriers. They see only challenges to overcome. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. For eons, the galactic community had operated on carefully negotiated treaties, each species finding its niche in the cosmic order. The humans, in their ignorance and enthusiasm, threatened to upend everything. What do they want? The question came from an unexpected source: the usually silent representative of the machine intelligences from the galactic core. Zixnera's form brightened. That, my friends, is the most perplexing question of all. The humans claim to seek knowledge, friendship, and peaceful coexistence, yet they push ever outward, heedless of the chaos they leave in their wake. Images flashed across the holograms. Human diplomats awkwardly attempting alien greetings, human scientists excitedly examining alien artifacts, human explorers planting their flag on world after world. They are, Zixnera continued, simultaneously our greatest hope and our greatest fear. Their potential for growth is unlimited, but so too is their potential for destruction, intentional or otherwise. The Hive Queen of Betelgeuse chittered nervously. Then what do you propose, Ambassador? How do we deal with these humans? Zixnera's crystalline form pulsed with determination. We have two choices before us. We can attempt to contain them, to force them into compliance with our established order. Or, she paused, her next words carrying the weight of galaxies. Or we can embrace them, guide them, learn from them even as we teach them. The humans are here, my friends, whether we like it or not. The question is, are we ready for the change they bring? As the Galactic Council erupted into heated debate, Zixnera gazed at the holographic images of Earth. In the eyes of the humans, she saw something both terrifying and exhilarating, a reflection of the universe's own boundless potential. The humans were here, and nothing would ever be the same again. The galactic stage, rising tensions. In the cycles that followed humanity's dramatic entrance onto the galactic stage, the cosmic landscape shifted in ways few could have predicted. What had begun as a curiosity quickly evolved into a source of both wonder and deep-seated anxiety for the established spacefaring races. Captain Ilara Chen of the Earth Diplomatic Corps stood before the towering gates of the Zarthaxi conclave, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The iridescent spires of the alien city stretched impossibly high, disappearing into the methane-rich atmosphere of this gas giant's moon. Beside her, her XO, Lieutenant Ramirez, fidgeted with his environment suit's controls. "Nervous, Lieutenant?" Ilara asked, a small smile playing on her lips. Ramirez chuckled, the sound distorted by his suit's comm system. "Just thinking about how, a decade ago, I was worrying about college exams. Now I'm about to negotiate trade rights with beings that look like sentient chandeliers." Ilara nodded, understanding all too well the whirlwind of changes humanity had experienced. In the brief span since their emergence onto the galactic scene, humans had established footholds on hundreds of worlds, made first contact with dozens of species, and left an indelible mark on intergalactic politics. The massive gates before them began to part, revealing the shimmering energy field that served as an atmospheric barrier. As they stepped through, their suit systems automatically adjusted to the alien environment. Inside, they were greeted by a delegation of Zarthaxi, their crystalline bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. The lead diplomat, a being named Silvor, approached with a series of musical chimes that their translators rendered into speech. "Welcome, representatives of Earth." Silvor's melodious voice echoed in their helmets. "We are curious about your proposal." Ilara bowed slightly, a gesture she hoped translated well across species. "We're honored to be here, Silvor." Humanity is eager to establish mutually beneficial relations with the Zarthaxi conclave. As they were led deeper into the alien city, Ilara couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Humanity's rapid expansion had been fueled by an insatiable curiosity and a stubborn refusal to accept limitations. Where other species saw insurmountable obstacles, humans saw challenges to overcome. Their unorthodox FTL drive, dubbed the Hawking Alcubierre warp, had been dismissed by many alien scientists as too unstable and energy-intensive to be practical. Yet human engineers had refined the technology, pushing its capabilities far beyond what was thought possible. Now, human ships darted between the stars with an ease that both impressed and unnerved their galactic neighbors. The diplomatic chamber they entered was a marvel of alien architecture, with walls that seemed to shift and flow like liquid crystal. As Ilara began her presentation, outlining proposed trade routes and cultural exchanges, she could sense the mix of fascination and wariness from the Zarthaxi representatives. And with the establishment of these trade links, Ilara concluded, "We believe both our peoples stand to gain immeasurably. The exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultures will enrich us all." There was a moment of silence as the Zarthaxi conferred among themselves in rapid, chime-like communications. Finally, Silvor spoke. "Your proposal is intriguing, Captain Chen, but we must express concerns shared by many in the galactic community. Humanity's rapid expansion, and forgive me, often haphazard approach to galactic law and custom has caused significant disruption." Ilara nodded, having anticipated this response. It wasn't the first time they'd heard such concerns. "We understand, Silvor. Humanity's emergence has been abrupt, and we're still learning to navigate the complexities of galactic society. But I assure you, our intentions are peaceful. We seek only to learn, to grow, and to contribute to the greater galactic community." Silvor's crystalline form shimmered in what Ilara had come to recognize as a sign of skepticism. "Noble sentiments, Captain. Yet we cannot ignore the reports from other sectors. Human colonists settling on worlds without regard for existing treaties. Human scientists experimenting with technologies deemed too dangerous by the Galactic Council. Human traders disrupting carefully balanced economic systems with your, what do you call it, free market approach." Ilara felt a flicker of frustration, but kept her diplomatic composure. "We acknowledge that there have been missteps, but consider the progress we've made. The Voth plague that ravaged the Andromeda arm. It was human medical researchers who developed the cure. The Krivak conflict that threatened to engulf 3 sectors. Human negotiators helped broker the peace." As she spoke, Ilara could see the subtle shifts in the Zarthaxi's crystalline structures, a sign that her words were having an impact. She pressed on. "Yes, humanity moves quickly. Yes, we make mistakes. But we learn from them, adapt, and push forward. Our drive to explore, to innovate, to connect, isn't that the very spirit that built this grand galactic civilization?" The chamber fell silent, the only sound the faint humming of the environmental systems. Ilara held her breath, acutely aware of how much rode on this moment. It wasn't just about trade rights with the Zarthaxi. It was about humanity's place in the galactic order. After what felt like an eternity, Silvor spoke. "Your words are compelling, Captain Chen. We will consider your proposal. But know this, the eyes of the galaxy are upon your species. Your next moves will be watched closely." As they left the diplomatic chamber, Ilara felt a mix of relief and lingering tension. They'd made progress, but the underlying issues remained. Humanity's meteoric rise was causing ripples across the galaxy, and not everyone was pleased with the changes they brought. Back on their ship, the CSS Horizon, Ilara gazed out at the swirling storms of the gas giant below. Lieutenant Ramirez joined her on the observation deck. "Think they'll go for it, Captain?" he asked. Ilara sighed. "I hope so. But this is about more than just the Zarthaxi. We're at a tipping point, Ramirez. Humanity needs to prove that we can be responsible members of the galactic community without losing the very traits that got us here. As if to underscore her point, an urgent communication came through from Earth Command. Ilara's blood ran cold as she read the message. "What is it, Captain?" Ramirez asked, noting her expression. Ilara's voice was grim as she replied. "There's been an incident in the Orion Spur, a human colony ship. It's gone missing. And the Galactic Council is demanding answers." As the CSS Horizon prepared to jump to its next destination, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into a storm. Humanity had reached for the stars with unbridled enthusiasm, but now they were learning that the galaxy was a far more complex and dangerous place than they had ever imagined. The humans were here, yes, but could they weather the challenges that lay ahead? The answer to that question would shape the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. The crisis, humanity's trial. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council thrummed with an energy that bordered on chaos. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued in a cacophony of languages, their translators struggling to keep up with the heated exchanges. At the center of it all stood Admiral Zhao Chen, his weathered face a mask of determination as he faced the assembled alien delegates. "Order. We will have order." The booming voice of High Arbiter Kivax cut through the din, his tentacles waving for silence. As the commotion settled, Kivax fixed his compound eyes on the human admiral. "Admiral Chen, you stand before this council to answer for the actions of your species. The disappearance of the colony ship Nova Esperanza has sparked a diplomatic crisis unprecedented in recent galactic history. What say you to these charges?" Admiral Chen squared his shoulders, acutely aware of the weight of this moment. "High Arbiter, esteemed members of the Council, I stand before you not to make excuses, but to seek the truth. The Nova Esperanza's disappearance is as much a mystery to us as it is to you. We have committed our full resources to investigating this incident." A harsh, grating laugh interrupted him. Grikta, the Volcran ambassador, stepped forward, his exoskeleton clicking ominously. "Investigation. Is that what you call it when your warships violate sovereign space? When your agents infiltrate our networks? The humans speak of peace while their actions scream of war." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. Admiral Chen felt the situation slipping away. He had to act fast. "Ambassador Grikta, I assure you." But before he could finish, the hall erupted in blinding light. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing scenes of devastation. A Volcran outpost reduced to rubble. Debris fields where once thriving space stations had orbited. And at the center of it all, grainy footage of ships bearing the insignia of the Earth Federation fleeing the scenes. The hall exploded into chaos once more. Accusations flew like missiles, each species adding their grievances to the growing list of human transgressions. Admiral Chen stood stunned, his mind racing to make sense of what he was seeing. "This is a fabrication," he shouted, but his voice was lost in the uproar. High Arbiter Kivax slammed his gavel, the sound reverberating through the hall. "Silence. In light of this evidence, this council has no choice but to take immediate action. All human vessels are hereby ordered to return to Earth space. Any found outside your designated sector will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. Furthermore, a committee will be formed to investigate these attacks and determine appropriate reparations." Admiral Chen felt the blood drain from his face. This was worse than he could have imagined. "High Arbiter, please, we need time to verify this information, to conduct our own investigation. You can't condemn an entire species based on." "The decision is final, Admiral," Kivax intoned, his voice carrying a finality that brooked no argument. "You have 72 galactic standard hours to comply. This session is adjourned." As the alien delegates filed out, many shooting venomous glares in his direction, Admiral Chen stood rooted to the spot. His comm unit buzzed insistently, no doubt flooded with messages from Earth Command. But for a moment, He allowed himself to feel the full weight of what had just transpired. Humanity, in its headlong rush to claim its place among the stars, now faced exile. Or worse. Aboard the CSS Horizon, Captain Ilara Chen paced the bridge, her face a mask of concern as she digested the news from the Galactic Council. "This doesn't make any sense," Lieutenant Ramirez said, shaking his head as he pored over the data. "Our ships don't have the capability to cause that kind of destruction. And even if they did, why would we? We've been working for years to build trust, to establish ourselves as part of the galactic community." Ilara nodded grimly. "Someone's gone to a lot of trouble to frame us. The question is, who and why?" Before Ramirez could respond, the ship's AI, Araya, chimed in. "Captain, I've detected an anomaly in the transmitted footage. There are inconsistencies in the light patterns and debris trajectories that suggest extensive manipulation." A flicker of hope ignited in Ilara's chest. "Can you prove it's fake?" "Given time, yes," Araya responded. "But the analysis could take days, possibly weeks, to conclusively demonstrate tampering across all the provided evidence." Ilara's jaw tightened. They didn't have weeks. They barely had days before the exile order took effect. "Keep working on it, Araya. In the meantime, we need to." Her words were cut short by a proximity alert. On the main view screen, a massive ship winked into existence, its sleek design unlike anything in known space. "Unknown vessel, bearing 220 Mark 45. The tactical officer reported, her voice tense. "They're hailing us, Captain." Ilara straightened her uniform. On screen, the face that appeared was startlingly human-like, save for the iridescent scales that covered its skin and the vertical pupils of its eyes. "Greetings, CSS Horizon. I am Captain Zira of the Arcanian Remnant. We've been monitoring your situation with great interest." Ilara's mind raced. The Arcanians were thought to be extinct, wiped out millennia ago in a conflict lost to history. "Captain Zira, this is unexpected. How can we assist you?" Zira's lips curled into what might have been a smile. "On the contrary, Captain Chen, we're here to assist you. We have information about the Nova Esperanza and about the forces working to discredit humanity. But time is short, and the stakes are higher than you can imagine. Are you willing to risk everything to uncover the truth?" For a moment, Ilara hesitated. They were already in violation of the Council's order by being outside Earth space, consorting with an unknown species, possibly interfering with the investigation. It could be seen as an act of war. But as she looked around at her crew, saw the determination in their eyes, she knew there was only one choice. "We're listening, Captain Zira," Ilara said, her voice steady. "Tell us what you know." As the Arcanian began to speak, Ilara felt the universe shift around her. Humanity stood on the brink of a precipice, facing either extinction or a new dawn. And in that moment, on the bridge of the CSS Horizon, the fate of not just humanity, but perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The humans were here, yes, and they were about to show the galaxy exactly what that meant. The turning point, defying expectations. The CSS Horizon hung in space, dwarfed by the massive Arcanian vessel. Inside, Captain Ilara Chen and her crew listened intently as Captain Zira unraveled a conspiracy that threatened to reshape the galaxy. The Nova Esperanza was not destroyed, Zira explained, her scaled face solemn on the view screen. It was captured by a faction we call the Shadowvale Collective. They are not of this galaxy. Ilara's eyes widened. Extragalactic invaders. But why frame humanity? Zira's vertical pupils narrowed. Your species represents a unique threat to them. Your adaptability, your drive to explore and innovate. These qualities make you unpredictable. The collective prefers stability. As the implications sank in, Lieutenant Ramirez spoke up. "So they're trying to isolate us, turn the galaxy against us before we can become a real threat." "Precisely," Zira nodded. But we don't have much time. The Collective's agents have infiltrated the highest levels of the Galactic Council. Soon, they'll push for more than just exile. They'll call for humanity's extinction. Ilara's jaw set with determination. Not if we can expose them first. But how? We're cut off from Earth, labeled as rogues by the Council. A slow smile spread across Zira's face. That, Captain Chen, is where human ingenuity comes in. We Arcanians can provide you with the information, but it's your unique approach that will win this battle. Over the next few hours, a plan took shape. It was audacious, borderline insane, and exactly the kind of thing that made humans so unpredictable. 48 hours later, alarms blared across the Galactic Council space station. Security forces rushed to contain what they believed was a massive systems failure, unaware that it was all part of an elaborate ruse. In the heart of the station, Ilara, disguised as a maintenance worker, slipped into a restricted data hub. Her fingers flew over the alien console, uploading the virus ARIA had designed. It was a masterpiece of coding, incorporating elements of human unpredictability that made it nearly impossible for the Collective's AI to counter. "I'm in," she whispered into her comm. "Ramirez, you're up." Across the station, Ramirez, posing as a diplomat's aide, casually approached a group of influential delegates. "Ambassadors, have you seen the latest transmission?" It's all over the nets. As the delegates checked their devices, their expressions morphed from confusion to shock. The virus had done its job, bypassing the Collective's information control and broadcasting the truth across every channel. Footage of the Nova Esperanza, very much intact but held in a strange alien dock, intercepted communications revealing the Collective's plans, and most damning of all, evidence of the Collective's agents within the Council itself. In the Council chamber, chaos erupted as accusations flew and alliances shattered. High Arbiter Kavax, his tentacles writhing in agitation, called for order. But the damage was done. The carefully constructed narrative was unraveling. Admiral Zhao Chen, who had been under house arrest, was suddenly the center of attention as species after species demanded explanations and apologies. But the Collective wasn't going down without a fight. As Ilara made her way back to the rendezvous point, she found her path blocked by a figure that seemed to shift and warp, as if it wasn't fully in this reality. Clever, human, the being hissed, its form solidifying into a nightmarish amalgamation of species. But futile. This galaxy will be ours, one way or another. Ilara stood her ground, a smirk playing on her lips. "You really don't understand us at all, do you? Humanity doesn't bow to bullies, no matter how advanced they think they are." The being lunged, its form shifting into a mass of tentacles and claws. But Ilara was ready. With reflexes honed by years in variable gravity environments, she dodged the attack and activated the device hidden in her palm. A burst of energy erupted, not harming the creature but solidifying its form. It screeched in fury and confusion, no longer able to shift its shape. "A little gift from our Arcanian friends," Ilara grinned, "adapted with some human flair, of course. You're not the only ones who can play with the fabric of reality." As security forces surrounded them, drawn by the commotion, the truth of the situation became undeniable. The Collective agent, unable to maintain its disguise, stood exposed before the shocked eyes of the galactic community. In the aftermath, the political landscape of the galaxy underwent a seismic shift. The Shadowvale Collective's infiltration had shaken the Galactic Council to its core, forcing a revaluation of centuries-old policies and alliances. Humanity, far from being exiled, found itself thrust into a position of unprecedented importance. Their ability to think outside established norms, to innovate in the face of overwhelming odds, had saved not just themselves, but potentially the entire galaxy from a threat it hadn't even known existed. As the CSS Horizon prepared to depart the Council station, now hailed as heroes rather than fugitives, Captain Ilara Chen stood on the bridge, gazing out at the star-filled expanse. "Orders, Captain," Ramirez asked, a note of pride in his voice. Ilara turned to her crew, a fierce determination in her eyes. We've won a battle, but the war is far from over. The collective is still out there, and the Nova Esperanza's crew needs us. Plot a course for the coordinates the Arcanians provided. It's time to show the Shadowvale Collective what humanity is really capable of. As the Horizon's engines hummed to life, preparing to jump into the unknown, Ilara couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had taken on an enemy that outmatched them technologically and won through sheer human ingenuity and determination. The humans were here, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The age of isolation was over. A new era of cooperation, innovation, and exploration was dawning, with humanity helping to lead the way. As the stars blurred around them, Ilara whispered to herself, "Look out, universe. We're just getting started." A new era, humanity's place among the stars. The vastness of intergalactic space stretched before the CSS horizon, a void so immense it humbled even the most seasoned space travelers. Yet Captain Ilara Chen felt a surge of pride as she gazed at the fleet assembled around her ship. Vessels of every shape and size, representing species from across the Milky Way, had answered humanity's call to arms. Fleet Status Report, Lieutenant Ramirez, Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Ramirez's fingers danced across his console. All ships reporting ready, Captain. The Arcanian dreadnoughts are in position. The Volcran strike forces are cloaked and awaiting orders, and the Zarthaxi crystal ships are fully charged. Earth's contribution of 50 ships, including our newest Olympus-class battlecruisers, form the core of our assault force. Ilara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Just months ago, these species had been at each other's throats, with humanity on the brink of exile. Now, united against a common threat, they presented a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Open a channel to the fleet," she ordered. As the comm activated, Ilara took a deep breath. "This is Captain Chen. In a few moments, we will make the jump into Shadowvale space. Our mission is clear. Rescue the crew of the Nova Esperanza and put an end to the collective's threat to our galaxy. We face an enemy that believes in absolute control, in the suppression of free will and creativity. But look around you. See the diversity, the unique strengths each of us brings to this fight. That is our greatest weapon." She paused, letting her words sink in. The collective thought they could isolate humanity, turn us into pariahs. Instead, they've united the galaxy in ways never before seen. Whatever happens next, remember this moment. This is the dawn of a new era of cooperation and understanding among our peoples. Now let's show the collective what happens when they pick a fight with one of us. They face us all. Helm, initiate jump sequence. As one, the massive fleet engaged their drives. Space itself seemed to bend and warp as hundreds of ships, their technologies as diverse as their crews, tore holes in the fabric of reality. The journey that would have taken years by conventional means was over in a matter of hours. They emerged in a star system unlike any they had encountered. Massive structures orbited a dying star, siphoning its energy. At the center of it all hung the Nova Esperanza, ensnared in a web of alien technology. For a moment, there was silence as both sides assessed the situation. Then, all hell broke loose. The collected ships, nightmarish constructs that seemed to defy the laws of physics, swarmed towards the Alliance fleet. But the combined forces of the Milky Way were ready. Volcran ships decloaked behind enemy lines, their quantum disruptors wreaking havoc on the collective's formations. Zarthaxi crystal ships fired beams of concentrated energy, slicing through the alien defenses. Earth's Olympus-class battlecruisers unleashed salvos of antimatter warheads, their explosions rippling across spacetime. At the heart of the battle, the CSS Horizon led a strike team towards the Nova Esperanza. Ilara, clad in a next-generation combat suit that merged human ingenuity with Arcanian technology, led the charge onto the captured ship. The interior of the Nova Esperanza was a nightmare of twisted corridors and alien growth. But the strike team pushed forward, their diversity proving to be their strength. Where human determination faltered, Vulcan cunning found a way. When Zarthaxi energy manipulation reached its limits, Earth's AI, Araya, calculated impossible solutions. They fought their way to the heart of the ship, where they found the crew of the Nova Esperanza suspended in stasis fields. And there, interfacing directly with the ship's systems, was the avatar of the Shadowvale Collective. "You fight the inevitable," the being's voice echoed in their minds. "Order is the natural state of the universe. Your chaotic individualism is a blight that must be purged." Ilara stepped forward, her weapon trained on the avatar. "You're wrong. It's our differences, our individual strengths and perspectives, that drive us forward. Your order is stagnation. We choose evolution." With a coordinated assault that combined technologies and tactics from a dozen worlds, they overwhelmed the avatar's defenses. As the being's form began to disintegrate, Ilara felt a moment of connection, a glimpse into a mind so alien it defied comprehension. "You cannot comprehend the forces you unleash." The avatar's final words echoed as it faded from existence. In that moment, as the stasis fields fell, and the crew of the Nova Esperanza began to awaken, Ilara understood the true magnitude of what they had accomplished. They had not just defeated an enemy, they had reshaped the very nature of galactic civilization. Years passed, and the ripples of that battle spread across the cosmos. The Galactic Council, once a stagnant bureaucracy, was reformed into a dynamic body that celebrated diversity and innovation. The technologies and strategies developed to fight the collective sparked a renaissance of scientific discovery and cultural exchange. Humanity, far from being the upstart newcomers, found themselves at the forefront of this new age. Their adaptability, their drive to explore and understand, became the catalyst for change throughout the galaxy. On the 10th anniversary of the Battle of Shadowvale Space, as it came to be known, Captain Ilara Chen, now Admiral Chen, stood before a gathering of representatives from across the Milky Way. The venue was New Harmony, a space station that combined architectural styles from 100 worlds, orbiting a star at the galaxy's heart. A decade ago, we faced a threat that sought to remake our galaxy in its image of cold, unfeeling order. Ilara began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. We prevailed not through overwhelming force, but through the strength of our diversity. Each of us brought something unique to the fight, and in doing so, we discovered a greater truth. She gestured to the stars visible through the station's crystal dome. The universe is vast, filled with wonders and terrors beyond our imagining. But as long as we stand together, as long as we celebrate our differences and learn from each other, there is no challenge we cannot overcome. As applause filled the chamber, Ilara's gaze drifted to a group of young officers, human, Vulcan, Zarthaxi, and more, eagerly awaiting their first deep space assignment. In their eyes, she saw the same fire, the same curiosity and determination that had driven humanity to the stars. The humans were here, yes, but they were no longer alone. Together with their new allies, they stood ready to face whatever the universe had in store, united in their diversity, stronger for their differences. As the ceremony concluded and the next wave of exploration ships prepared to depart, Ilara smiled to herself. The greatest adventure was just beginning.